your competence, if you considered them and then the city manager simply repeats them to you, you still have to say, why did you consider her to be superior to you in terms of reasoning or factors to be taken into account? And so, yeah, I'm back to, it's one or the other. You considered them and you satisfied yourself that this can be extended. That's why you agreed with Mr. Ngqiza. Something else happens, and it cannot be the city manager repeated the same things to you. Something else happened that made you change your mind because you already had a view. She can't repeat the same thing and then you say, yeah, because it comes from the city manager, it's reasonable.
Chair, through you, I'm saying there are discussions that are taking place. Initially, I satisfied myself. We do it. We do extend. Sometimes we don't extend. That's how it is, based on how far the investigation is.
So there was no instruction from the city manager. You had a debate, and she persuaded you differently. There was no instruction from her.
I think you're battling to hear me. That's why I'm really trying to.
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not battling to hear you. I understand you. I hear. And I understand you perfectly. You either had an instruction from the city manager or you did not. You now speak about a debate. And I say, well, you either acted because of an instruction, which you say, I must comply with, or you debated. You had formed a view, you debated, and she persuaded you differently. In the latter case, it's not an instruction. If the latter happened, then there was no instruction from the city manager, then she's right when she says, I never gave an instruction. Or she did give you an instruction. And it takes us back to, well, why did you think this was a reasonable instruction? But forget that second part of why do you think it's a reasonable instruction is I'm saying to you, you either were persuaded different, and there's nothing wrong. If you had started with that, without saying she instructed me, if you had started with, yes, I formed a view, but when I had a conversation with the city manager, I actually saw things differently. I think that would have been the end of this debate with you. But that's not what you say. You say you got an instruction and she's not telling the truth when she said she never instructed you.
Thank you, Chair. I've said from yesterday, I'm really trying to be slow because I think maybe yesterday I was rushing and I was not heard properly. You will debate issues with her. She will give you an instruction. I think that's the part I need you to hear. She will give you an instruction. And if I was not competent, I'll just say, yes, boss, and then move with it. I will advise against the instruction where I'm uncomfortable. We'll engage, and I've said most of the time you find out that legally she's equipped. After the debate, she will still say, I am saying to you, do this and that. And I wanted to talk to the competence issue because now you've raised it. And hence yesterday I've said, before and after the instruction has been given, I engage on issues because you cannot be at my level where you are told, do this, you say yes, but I've been very consistent on that. Instructions are given, I debate, and I'm still told you're gonna go and do it this way. And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful when I was saying you can test her character to the highest level. She will allow you to debate, but after debate, what she has said must happen, must happen. I don't think, I'm finishing, between me, Chief of Police, Xolani, Advocate Kemi, we don't even know, I don't know Mkhwanazi. I started knowing Mkhwanazi during this case. I don't think all of us would want to shield Mkhwanazi, and I don't think we had any reason to shield Mkhwanazi.
The suggestion is you were shielding him to please the city manager. That's the evidence. That's a complaint against you. It is, you may not have known him. Maybe you met him for the first time at the city of Ekurhuleni. That's not even the conversation. The complaint against you is you did not, firstly you uplifted his suspension, because you were pleasing the city manager and you were rewarded for it financially. 2, you did not do anything, you frustrated or contributed to the frustration of the disciplinary process against him because you were doing the city manager's bidding and you were rewarded for it. That's the accusation against you. So it doesn't help for you to say, I didn't know him. We're looking at your conduct where there's a clear case of serious misconduct, serious, which in another forum should see Commissioner Mkhwanazi go to jail. You become aware of it. You see the charge sheet, it's serious matter. You say, well, they made an agreement, I wasn't involved with it. You say I was instructed. You say I did a forensic investigation, which has nothing to do with the charges. And the explanation from your colleagues who have testified is your role in all of this is explained by you were working with a city manager who was protecting, they say. She was protecting Mkhwanazi. You helped her and you got rewarded for it. Those are the allegations against you.
The following weekend, she was buried on Sunday. Monday, I was called to come back to work. And I said, on Mondays, since in Beki, because we bury on Sunday, I was told if I'm not back at work the following day, I'll be dealt with. That was around 4 o'clock on Monday, that conversation. I had to drive from Queenstown to here, to Joburg. Didn't sleep, I'm a firstborn at home. Never slept. When we're driving, my husband had to stop me while we were sleeping at Bloemfontein. Because you are tired and the car keeps on getting out of the road. The following day I was in the office doing interviews. I've never mourned my mom. On top of that, 5 days were deducted from my salary for burying my mother. So in that period, between February and up to the end of 2023, why would I be loyal to such a person? So I really want this misperception that says some of us were loyal to Dr. Mashazi to be seen differently. It wasn't about loyalty. It was about how we advise and if our advice is taken or not taken. And I thought yesterday I was assisting myself and the commission when I said there's an executive authority, Ekuruleni. And ultimately, she's fully accountable in everything that is done. And I'm refuting anything that says, in that year, I was loyal to Dr. Mashazi, whereas I went through what I went through. What I'm saying to the commission, we debated on matters. We debated on instructions. Ultimately, she will hear you. Hence, I'm saying, get somebody who's not involved, leave all of us. Bring another witness who's gonna tell you that after debate, she will still have her word done. I really, hence I said yesterday, even on the issue of our increases, she came to me and said, why is Meral supporting you? You know, she pushed it because maybe she had no choice. We did a motivation. It went to the remuneration committee, it went to Meral. That is the loyalty issue. Maybe we're loyal to the authority, the position, not the individual. And lastly, Commission, I want to leave here with a clear tone. Instructions are given, I advise. After advising, if there's an ultimate instruction given, you have to comply. And it's 4 of us, against her or against Julius Mkhwanazi. You know, you have to understand the complexity, and the only way you're gonna be assisted is to bring somebody else who is not involved in this matter to deal with it. Thank you, Chair.
I think the issue, the Chair earlier on raised it as someone at your level of seniority, that you're executing instructions like this. And hence my question earlier to you, what is reasonable about the instruction? Because you say, I comply with reasonable instructions. Now, if an instruction is unreasonable and you still comply with it, it makes us ask questions about you and why you would do that which you did. So that's the context or the prism within which you should look at this, that you are employed, you're a Section 56 employee, as I understand. The decision to employ you is not the city manager's decision, as I understand these things. You can correct me if I'm wrong. The decision to fire you is not the city manager's decision. Ultimately, she can lay a complaint against you and you get disciplined, but it's not her decision. And then you are making these decisions, you become party to decisions that do not make sense, because it does not make sense that you ordered the upliftment, and you ordered it because it's in your letter, it's in your handwriting, in the same way that you keep saying, well, Chief Mapia wrote the letter, and therefore it's him. It applies to you too. You wrote the letter uplifting the suspension. It's not good enough, is the point at least that I'm making. For someone of your seniority, it's not good enough to say, I acted on instruction. It's not. You're supposed to bring to bear your professional guidance on matters like this. Nowhere does it record you disagreed with the city manager. Nowhere. Nowhere does it say, you don't give us an email, you don't give us a memorandum, you don't give us a WhatsApp message that says, I disagreed and I told her that I disagree with this, but I implemented because she instructed me and said she'll deal with me if I don't. What we have is her saying she acted on your advice. That's what's on record. With you, we do have a footprint of your letter uplifting the suspension. So it's you who uplifted the suspension. And you must take accountability. And in the same way that you say Chief Mapia should take accountability for his letter, even if he says I was pressured. He must take accountability because he wrote that letter and signed it off, stopping the disciplinary process. Same applies to you. Take accountability for, yes, I uplifted the suspension. Yes, I was wrong to follow that instruction because it was an unreasonable instruction. Not try and justify it as we debated. And then she then at the end of it said, I'm instructing you. Say she instructed me, and I should not have followed that instruction. That's all we are asking you to do, is accept it's a wrong instruction to uplift the suspension where the city manager overrides your position. It was a wrong instruction for her to give you. And you should not have followed it. You did follow it, but do at least own up to it and say, I should not have followed that instruction.
Chair, through you, I think it becomes very difficult when we have to concede on issues when you contemplate them differently. And while you put your statement here, I've been very consistent that instructions are given, I do advise, and I do debate on issues. Ultimately, if it's reasonable, and the reason I'm saying it's reasonable to me, extending for 6 months, it's the right thing to do. But where the problem is with that clause, it says 3 months, within 3 months, finish the disciplinary process. And if you don't finish it within 3 months, the employee must come back to work. In exceptional circumstances, you can extend it. When I signed the first one, I agreed to sign the extension. It was based that at least you can stay up to 6 months. And there are circumstances where we say employees come back because the process has advanced. And I've said yesterday, I want the context. I will accede where I have to accede, but I really wanted the context to be given. Chairperson, in the sense that 3 months was concluded. And HR did, in our space, have irregularities. I'm taking that Dr. Mashazi is wrong. If you want me to say I could have done things better, I will do so. But we also played a critical role on that process not being concluded. And I'm not sure then when I was testifying here if all this will be integrated and before decisions are made. But I'm appealing to the Commission that when utterances are made, can we at least also talk to the context of how the matters have been discussed? You know, the process was frustrated, I get that. And I'm saying we could have done things better. And it's really a pity, I'm gonna repeat before I concede to this, that Dr. Mashazi wouldn't know all these things. As we decide to wake up and protect Julius, what for? What for? And I wouldn't want to get to a situation where my competencies are being challenged without me trying to put a context on my side, Chairperson. I wouldn't want to. Hence, I keep on saying, whereas instructions are made, are discussed, a person is advised, but ultimately, if you are a decision maker, you can even override what I'm saying and write your own letter, or I assist and write the letter. Kolani drafted the upliftment, and I signed it, and 3 months have passed. Kolani decided when the 3 months have passed to still think, do I discipline or I don't discipline? Those things must be taken into context.
Thank you.
I'm appealing with you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheka.
Can I just ask one follow-up question? I mean, you know the prescripts that apply in the municipality. You've told us you spent many years in the city of Joburg. You are now in the city of Ekurhuleni. Is it lawful and appropriate for a city manager to involve herself in issues of suspension and discipline of an employee at a level where Julius Mkhwanazi was in May and June 2023? Is it appropriate and lawful for her to be involved?
Chair, according to the delegations, as much as, remember, ultimately delegations are hers, accountabilities, she's the ultimate authority here. There's sub-delegations into these matters. But it doesn't mean because there's sub-delegations, she cannot still assume her delegations. I've said earlier on in my statement, this matter is the Chief of Police and Nkola who brought her into it. If in the beginning, they wouldn't have said, okay, this one has got proximity to the accounting officer, let's go and consult her. That's where this whole thing started. And then she started following it up. Remember, if you read their statement between Henny and Kolani, while Kolani has not yet disciplined, is still contemplating, they might go to jail, they might not go to jail, let me not discipline. Henny sensitized them that the time is moving. And by the 23rd, when he sensitized them, the 24th is the last day of the 90 days. You know, what do they do there? If you read their statement, I want to finish, Chair. I really want to, Chair. I'm going to come to it.
Is it appropriate? Yes, it is appropriate. No, it's not appropriate. I don't want to hear about what Kemi did or what Nisa did. I just ask a simple question. Is it appropriate for a municipal manager to involve themselves at that level with the suspensions of employees at that level? If it is appropriate, you can say, yes, it is. If it's not appropriate, you can say, no, it's not. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Assume we've read these laws, assume we've read the records, assume we've heard your statement, assume we've heard what you said yesterday. All I want for now is it appropriate, yes, or it's not appropriate?
Ideally, Chair, a city manager should have said when they said, we want to discipline Mkhwanazi, and say, it's your role, deal with it, don't involve me. Therefore, it doesn't look good. It's not appropriate because those are lower level. And the contradiction, remember, when we're discussing recruitment, Chief complaining, she says to Chief, below this level, don't be involved because you are dealing with a higher level. It's the same as her.
Exactly.
But all I'm saying, Chair, I know even my legal team, I'm sure they're going to reprimand me. I'm not trying to explain myself as if I'm hiding something, but I'm trying to refute the statements and the allegations Dr. Mashazi is doing against all of us, that she should not have involved herself from the beginning.
You see, now you've answered me. You didn't have to take that long route. Thank you.
Let's adjourn and come back at 20.